Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to cover a game returning to Steam after some licensing issues. These things happen every now and again, but thankfully, Microsoft and Remedy were pretty open about everything that was going on with the game being pulled from not only Steam, but also Xbox Game Pass. So we'll talk about that. Also, speaking of games coming to Steam, we have an Epic Game Store title that has dropped on Steam, so we'll cover that, and want to highlight a free weekend that will be running for this weekend and going until Monday, so we'll talk that as well. But first of all, Quantum Break is back on Steam. Now, the game is also back on Xbox Game Pass if you would prefer to play it that way. The reasoning for the game being removed was some licensing issues. There were licenses that did expire. I am not sure if they were music licensing issues, but the Remedy for a while just noted, don't worry, Quantum Break will be coming back to Game Pass. It is being temporarily removed due to some licenses that expired that were in the process of being renewed. We will let you know as soon as it is back. Again, it wasn't available on Steam, wasn't available on Xbox Game Pass, but it has officially returned on the platform. So this does happen every now and again. We recently saw it happen to like Project Cars. The Grand Theft Auto games obviously have a lot of licensed content as well, and you do have to renew those licenses if you do want to keep the game in the storefront. That's always why a little bit of murky territory when you do have licensed content in a game, just because you better make sure either the agreement is pretty long-lasting or you are consistently renewing those agreements. But thankfully with Quantum Break, that agreement was renewed. However, I would not recommend you to buy this game right now. Of course, at $39.99, a little bit too hefty of a price point. This game was actually an absolute abomination of a PC port when it initially came out, and there's a reason why the PC version of the game has a 66 on Metacritic, while the Xbox version of the game has a 77 on Metacritic. And at this point, I believe the game is much better, probably not perfect, but you know, when you're either playing the game through Xbox Game Pass or you're buying it for, what does it go on sale for, $9.99, it's going to be a much more compelling purchase at that price point. Quantum Break was a title that was incredibly ambitious. I believe the budget to this game was absolutely astronomically high, and then it also had like a television show that was centered around it. It just had a lot to go into the investment of the game, so, you know, unfortunately never saw a sequel or anything like that, but yeah, it was a game that, you know, had a lot of interesting elements, and Remedy, they create games that are incredibly compelling from a narrative standpoint. Like, if you played Control, if you played Alan Wake, you know that they're gonna craft up a good story, but yeah. Add that to your wish list if you haven't picked it up, play it through Game Pass, but nice to see it be back on Steam and other platforms as well. Moving on from that, speaking of games coming to Steam, the Epic Game Store exclusive and Evil Dead the Game has now dropped on Steam. I'm really curious how Epic Game Store comes to a decision on what games are they gonna, you know, go after as far as an exclusivity agreement with. Like, a game like this, in retrospect, just seems like, you know, why get this game as an exclusive? It's not like it resonated at a really high level, and ultimately for the game, probably deterred its player base more than anything in terms of, you know, cultivating a long-lasting player base as a multiplayer PvP title. However, I'm sure they got a healthy payment from Epic Game Store. That's why these things happen. So, you know, good for them. They probably got a very, very healthy check from the Epic Game Store. I don't know if it was in the 7-figure range. I don't know if it was like in the 8-figure range. Doubt 8 figures. 8 figures would be crazy, but probably 7 figures. The game notes step into the shoes of Ash Williams or his friends from the iconic Evil Dead franchise in a game loaded with over-the-top co-op and PvP multiplayer action. Play as a team of 4 survivors in a game inspired by all 3 original Evil Dead films, as well as the Ash vs. Evil Dead television series. Right now, the game does have a launch introductory offer, 34% off for $19.79, so you can get it at a bit of a discount, but yeah, I know a lot of people are just super against buying Epic Game Store titles even when they ultimately drop on Steam. A couple titles that, you know, people ended up checking out anyway, like Control and, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake, just because they were games at a level where people were like, okay, that's a game that, you know, you want to check out even if it wasn't Epic Game Store exclusive. But some people just have that rule where they're just so against exclusivity agreements that they're not going to buy a game. It'll be interesting to see what Dead Island 2 is priced at when it drops on Steam, but I'm sure that's a game that, you know, you can't even hate on, like, Deep Silver or, whoever was involved in getting that agreement done. Remember, Dead Island 2 had a lengthy development process, and you want to get as much guaranteed recoup of the cost that you can possibly get just to make sure that that game is going to be a success. And the game has sold 1 million copies in 3 days, and hopefully when it does drop on Steam, that number will only continue to grow. But also, Deep Silver and Epic Games Store, I believe, have a pretty solid relationship, given that some other titles have been Epic Games Store exclusives. Like, wasn't Metro Exodus an Epic Games Store exclusive? Am I making that up? I'm pretty sure it was a Epic Games Store exclusive. So, for a little while, obviously, it ultimately came to Steam. And I might be wrong about that. Yeah, it was, I believe, an Epic Games Store exclusive. Oh, yeah, Metro was like a complete train wreck where it was, I believe, available for pre-order for a while on Steam. Nonetheless, that was a huge diatribe I got back into in 2019, and I probably created like rant videos about that. Nevertheless, yeah, there you go with that. Evil Dead, the game, now available on Steam. Again, hopefully Dead Island 2 gonna come in 6 months to a year from now. Lastly, I do want to note that Leap is enjoying a free-to-play weekend right now on Steam. Talked about this a few days ago, but Leap is a fast-paced multiplayer first-person shooter featuring epic large-scale battles, each with players armed to the teeth, fight for either the United Earth Defense Coalition or the Rebel Exoterrans. Whoever pays the most wins your trigger finger and excessive arsenal. The game has a mixed reception right now, 214 user reviews, 53% positive. Drop back on March, and this might be a game that we're gonna look back on and be like, man, maybe it should have been free to play right from the get-go. This isn't going free to play, at least not yet. It was this is a free weekend, and it's a $29.99 release, but given that it came out a month and a half ago, it's already 50% off for $14.99, so that's a sizable discount for a game like this. But obviously, the longevity of a game like Leap is going to be determined by a large player base, or not even a large player base, just, enough to make sure the game is sustainable. And at this stage of the game, you're talking about a game that came out a month and a half ago with only 200 reviews. The community hub does not have a player base listed, so might be a little bit of trouble in paradise as far as this game is concerned. Early access did hit back in June of 2022, so it's been like around on Steam for a while, but the official release, you would hope, would jolt up some interest in the game. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's happened. Hopefully, this free weekend does get some people to be playing. And again, discounted at $14.99, so you can get it a little bit cheaper. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Quantum Break has returned to Steam. Great news on that. Licensing issues have been resolved, and the game is now fully back again. I would wait on a discount for $9.99. $14.99, around that price point, I think is a good buy. Evil Dead, the game, available on Steam now as well, and Leap is having a free weekend on Steam as well. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.